class, we're continuing Chapter 7, Evaluating Expressions. This is the last lesson in this chapter called Evaluating Formulas. Now, one of the reasons why you all are learning algebra is so that you know how to use formulas. And you're going to come across formulas in classes such as chemistry, physics, business, and even in real life, you may run into problems where you could apply algebra. So let's talk about a formula. Formulas are evaluated in the same way any expression having numbers and variables are evaluated. Here is an example of a formula that is used in business. The total amount in an account earning simple interest is given by the formula A equals P in parentheses, or times what's in parentheses, 1 plus R times T, where A is the amount, P is the principal, R is the rate, and T is the time. Find A when P equals 1,000, R equals 800ths, and T equals 1 5/10. So let's put these numbers into this formula. So we have P, which equals 1,000, and in parentheses I have 1 plus R, which is 800ths, and then times T, which is 1 5/10. I'm actually going to turn this into a bracket here. Let me just erase this parentheses. I'm going to turn that into a bracket and further isolate what I'm doing here in the center. So all of our attention needs to be going into the innermost part of this formula. So we want to multiply 800ths times 1 5/10, which is 1200ths. And then I rewrite my problem, put my brackets around because I'm not done with this problem yet. So I want to add 1 plus 1200ths, which is 1 1200ths. And I'm going to put my brackets around and rewrite my problem. So when I have a number up against the brackets or parentheses or braces, it means to multiply. So we need to multiply 1,000 times 1 1200ths. And this gets us the amount of 1,120. This is what equals A. All right, next formula. This is a formula used in science where we change a temperature in Fahrenheit to Celsius. So our formula is C equals 5/9, and then you multiply the temperature in Fahrenheit minus 32. Okay, so this is asking us to change the temperature in Fahrenheit to Celsius. So we're going from Fahrenheit to Celsius, where C is degrees Celsius and F is degrees Fahrenheit. Find C when F equals 13 or negative 13. So let's put that in. So we have negative 13 minus 32. Be sure just to write everything. Okay, don't leave any information out. So now we want to subtract what is in parentheses. That is what's important first. We subtract negative 13 minus 32, the subtraction rule when subtracting numbers with different signs. This turns into an addition operation. We change the sign of the second number. This now becomes negative 45. I'm going to rewrite my problem. So add that 5/9. Okay, so now we can read this. This is 5/9 times negative 45. You guys all can do this. This is a whole number, and we're just going to put a 1 underneath this. And now we're just going to multiply. But before I multiply, I can see that I have a common factor. So I have a common factor of that goes into 9 and 45. 9 goes into 9 one time. 9 goes into negative 45, negative 5 times. So now I'm going to multiply 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. This is my new degrees in Celsius. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Example 3. This is an example used in physics, or a formula that you will find in physics. The time it takes a pendulum to make one swing is given in the formula. T equals pi times the square root of length divided by gravity. So we are going to put in the numbers. For pi, we're going to use just 3.14. Now this number is much longer, so we actually want to say that pi is approximately 3.14. The length is 128 and gravity is 32. So let's fill in this information. So T equals, or it roughly, it's approximately 3.14 times the square root of length, 128, divided by gravity, which is 32. Now 128 divided by 32 equals 4. We still want to take that square root. And I'm going to rewrite my problem, 3.14, put it in parentheses. And this is what T is approximately equal to. So we know the square root of 4 is 2. And we're going to multiply this by 3.14 to approximately get 6.28 seconds. And this is my answer. Okay. My last example. The sum of a geometric series is given by the formula S equals A times, what's in parentheses, 1 minus r to the n power over 1 minus r, where S is the sum, A is the first term, r is the ratio, and n is the number of terms. This is a formula that is used in higher levels of mathematics. So let's put these numbers into this formula. So find S when A equals -4, R equals 1/2, and N equals 3. So A is -4, 1 minus R, which is 1/2. I'm going to put this in parentheses, to the third power. So I'm actually going to turn this into a bracket, just so I don't get confused. So let's turn that into a bracket, and I'm going to put a bracket around this. And I'm going to divide by 1 minus 1/2. So let's rewrite this problem. We got to work with the innermost part, 1/2 cubed. So we're going to start there because you know that you start with powers and square roots first. So 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. This is equal to 1/8. So I'm going to rewrite my problem with that in it. So -4 in parentheses, 1 minus 1/8 over, so think about it, 1 minus 1/2. We don't really have to do too much math with this, okay? If you think about it logically, what is half of 1? Okay, I hope it came to your mind that half of 1 is 1/2. If you needed to do the math, you can absolutely do the subtraction of a whole and this fraction. Okay, so let me continue working with 1 minus 1/8. Now 1 minus 1/8, 1 is a whole, so this is basically 8/8 minus 1/8, which equals 7/8. So if I rewrite this problem, I have -4 times 7/8 over 1/2. Okay, so now I need to multiply this -4 times 7/8. And if I just put a 1 underneath this, I can just multiply across. So I have a common factor here of 4, between 4 and 8, which is 4. 4 goes into -4, -1 time. 4 goes into 8 2 times. So if I multiply this across, I'm going to get negative 1 times 7 is negative 7 over 2 divided by 1/2. And we can easily do this. We're going to set this up. Negative 7 over 2 divided by 1/2. You all know you need to take the reciprocal, so negative 2, take the reciprocal of the second number, and we multiply, and this equals, well, before we multiply, we have a common factor, don't we? Between the 2's, 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 2 one time, so we have negative 7 over 1, or just negative 7. So the sum equals negative 7. Okay. Good luck with your homework. Take your time in putting the numbers in for these variables. Take your time with the math. You all have the skills to do this, and let me know if you have any questions.